is Madison Square Garden, where for generations basketball greats have come to shine. And a new class is heading off to the NBA. Emeka Okafor and Ben Gordon have won national titles. They've starred in the Garden before. Devin Harris is ready for his shot on Broadway as well. A freshman from ACC country joining some high school stars who are ready to make the big jump to the NBA. Some of the big names you'll get to know and find out where they will call home. It's time for the NBA Draft 2004. Meet the NBA's future. Howard all the way! Young men blessed with talent. Blocked by Okafor! Determined to cast their dream.
Gordon straight down the middle.
Luol Deng! Tonight, their destiny unfolds.
How sweet it is! We're the next generation. Final Four MVP.
Okafor blocks the shot!
The student of the game. The National Player of the Year and proud father. I'm a man. Loaded with potential. The Pac-10, the Big Ten Player of the Year. Quiet leader with a deadly touch. We are the future, the next great hope. I realized my NBA dream while watching Hakeem the Dream when I was 5 years old, while leading the Hawks to an undefeated season. When I sent the Garden to a friend, I realized my NBA dreams were hours of sweat and hard work. Now my dream. Now my dream. You know, reality. A dream that will keep my opponents awake at night. Who am I? I am a smooth, strong, explosive, hungry, clever, multi-talented, pass, make, shot block, star. We are the NBA's future. We are who we need.
And so it begins for the class of 2004. Somewhere in there, there's all-stars, players who very well might win an NBA championship. There are dreams that will not be fulfilled in 5 or 10 years somewhere. Who knows where Emeka Okafor's success will be found? Will he continue the great run that had Connecticut as the national champion just a couple of months ago? Dwight Howard waits. It's a big leap from high school to the NBA. It's hard to find a young man better prepared to make it. With his son known as Jameer Nelson, who led St. Joseph's on a dream run that captured the hearts of Philadelphia. Just some of the individual stories as they settle in here at the theater at Madison Square Garden in an off-season promising seismic movement to the NBA. One very significant part is always the NBA draft. Glad to have you along here on ESPN. The draft will start at the bottom of the hour. We're going to get you ready for the next half hour. Joined by Jay Bilas, Stephen A. Smith, Tom Tolbert up here on the main set, Mike Tirico. We've got, as usual, a crew of ESPN analysts, reporters around the country, 18 video conference sites. So if it happens on draft night, we'll get you dialed in. And the big story, guys, is we don't know who the #1 pick is going to be. Most years you have a clue, you have a feel, and certainly it's going to be one of 2 choices for Orlando. However, there is a lot to be talked about regarding their selection, and Jay and the guys will weigh in on that momentarily. As you've become familiar over the last 2 decades watching drafts on ESPN, we'll keep you entertained. We'll show you everything that happens, and you can follow along with your favorite team. Down the side, just follow the sliding list. When your team is highlighted, there will be information about players. Jay Bilas has watched hours of tape, scouted in person a lot of these players. Jay's best available list. There are polls, trivia questions, history, so we will keep you entertained and always on the bottom, a constant update of what's going on in the draft. What's going on right now? Let's check the headlines on draft night 2004. Who is #1, Emeka Okafor or Dwight Howard? We'll talk some news about that, and then the issues behind Orlando's selection coming up in about a half hour. Among the other headlines on the list around the NBA, Tracy McGrady and Shaquille O'Neal, 2 of the 5 best players in the league, are in serious trade discussions. We'll find out who is making moves and making conversation. And trading spaces is not about switching homes and building a new family room for your neighbor. It's about moving around the NBA draft at spot 5 and spot 7, spot 22. We'll detail all that momentarily. First, the #1 selection. Orlando's decision-making process obviously involves the talent of Emeka Okafor, Dwight Howard. Also, the health question with Emeka Okafor that was raised a lot in April and quieted down for the last couple of months.
Yeah, Mike, I think it's really the only issue, at least from my judgment, as to whether you take Emeka Okafor or Dwight Howard. I had one NBA representative tell me that the doctors for his team flagged Emeka Okafor's back. That means it's a significant issue for those particular doctors. That does not mean it's an issue for Orlando, but it's something that Orlando is going to have to clear and feel comfortable with if they're going to take Emeka Okafor. Otherwise, it is perfectly reasonable to take Dwight Howard with the #1 pick because he is healthy. You don't have any concerns about his back at all.
We'll talk to Emeka Okafor momentarily. I mentioned all of our colleagues who will be joining us on our coverage. You cannot talk college basketball on this network without one man, Dick Vitale, who will join us throughout the night from down in Florida. Dick, I know you got a chance up close very often to see Connecticut's title run and Emeka Okafor. Where does he fit into this draft in your mind?
Well, I tell you right now, it'd be a no-brainer for me. I got to go for Okafor. He did it late in that game against Duke when he had 18 points in the last 15 minutes. He was absolutely brilliant when the pressure was on. He played in a big stage. He's a kid that could dominate. The last college player to be #1 was a defensive force as well. When we talk about certainly Kenyon Martin, bottom line is I think this kid could be a defensive force. I think his offensive efficiency will get better and better. I look at a 10-year player, love his mental maturity, and we don't know about high school players, man. The jury's still out on guys like Tyson Chandler, Kwame Brown. I know one thing, Mr. Okafor, to me, is going to be the sure thing.
Dick hasn't been on the air in 10 weeks. Can you tell? He is ready, and he will be here throughout the night. Dick, great to have you along. Let's find out about Emeka Okafor's back and Emeka's mental state as he waits. He could be a half hour from being part of history. #1 overall pick. He's standing by with Stuart Scott. Stu?
Thanks a lot, Mike. Emeka, there were concerns about your back in the NCAA tournament, back in the Big East tournament. There are some people who are saying now that the back might be a concern. You told Mark Jones yesterday it's not a concern. What's your reaction right now to people still talking about this?
You know, I'm still taken back. You know, I've been numerous doctors have backed what I've been saying, and I don't know what else to do. You know, I've exhausted all possibilities and trying to demonstrate my back's all right, but all I can do is go with the flow right now.
Feels fine?
Feels fine.
Feels perfect.
Perfect.
You're either going -- 1 or #2. No one knows that. Some people might say, hey, what's the big deal? How important is it to you to go #1?
It just be a nice finish. You know, my mind, you know, I came into college as an unknown high school player, and you know, to finish off, you know, possible #1 pick, you know, just puts a nice smile on my face.
Somebody said once you have obsessive discipline. Is that how you led the nation in block shots and rebounds and got a GPA that's higher than all of mine combined in 4 years?
It's part of it. I just found a habit, found my niche, and just stuck with it.
All right, man, we appreciate it. Good luck tonight. Mike, this is a guy who used to get up at 1 o'clock in the morning to study 2 or 3 or 4 more hours.
Well, the 3.8 GPA shows some of that, Stu, and what a great citizen as well. You know, all the anecdotes about Emeka Okafor, the one I love is George Blaney, very respected head coach for a long time in college basketball, assistant for Jim Calhoun, watching the unofficial workouts with the players. He left a Post-it note for Jim Calhoun, the head coach of Connecticut. First time he saw Okafor, it had 3 words on it. Oh, my God. And Emeka Okafor has delivered for UConn and now will deliver in the NBA. Should he deliver for Orlando at #1, Steve?
I don't think there's any question about it. Unless you can show me that this kid has back problems, there's no excuse whatsoever why Emeka Okafor shouldn't be the #1 pick in the NBA draft. You look at the Orlando Magic, they gave up 101.1 points per game. They gave up 46% shooting from the field to the opposition. You look at Emeka Okafor, this man plays some defense. He comes to play. He's a national champion. He's got all the requisite credentials imaginable. The stuff that Dwight Howard, as great as he may be, hopes to have, Emeka Okafor has already accomplished. And if you're the Orlando Magic, you don't need to be playing guessing games. You need a surefire pick, and there's no question Emeka is it.
You know, I'm not sure who you take. All I know is in the NBA, this is the most important draft in team sports. In baseball, you can get a Hall of Famer like Mike Piazza in the 62nd round. Extreme, yes, but you can get good players in the 10th round, 20th round. In football, you can get a Super Bowl MVP, Tom Brady, in the 6th round. And while we talk about Ben Wallace and he was undrafted and what he meant to Detroit Pistons this year, they had a 2nd overall pick in Rasheed Wallace, a 3rd overall pick in Chauncey Billups, and a 7th overall pick in Rip Hamilton. If you mess up the 1st round in the NBA, you not only hurt yourself next year, you can hurt yourself for 4 or 5 years.
442 players in the NBA. 61% taken in round one. So if you don't get it here, you get a guy who would likely be on your roster for a while. Let's bring in David Aldridge, because standing behind Orlando is Charlotte, the Bobcats' 30th NBA franchise. Their first season starts in about 5 months. And David, if Emeka Okafor is still around, I would imagine they would be quite happy to see him at number 2.
They'd be delighted, Mike. I can tell you, they checked out Emeka Okafor's back on 3 separate occasions, including bringing in a specialist to look at it. Everything checked out fine. If for some reason Emeka Okafor is still on the board at 2, they will do a victory dance down in Charlotte and very happily take him with the 2nd pick. They feel like this is a great guy to build a franchise around. They'll be very happy to take Dwight Howard, but they'd be more happy to take Emeka Okafor.
All right, David, hang loose here, because item 2 on our headlines was trading spaces. There are some potential trades out there that have been talked about for the last couple of days on our draft preview shows and SportsCenter. They are not official trades yet. I'll explain why in a second. One proposed trade will have Dallas picking in the 5 slot where Washington was. The exchange of ACC past players who are now NBA veterans, Stackhouse Leitner to Dallas, Antoine Jamison to Washington. The other move would involve the Phoenix Suns spot, number 7. That would go to Chicago, which also has the number 3 pick. Phoenix would get a 2nd-round pick this year, 31, cash, and a future 1st-round pick. The reason both of these trades are proposed trades and not actual done deals yet. Very simply, in the NBA, you have to have a 1st-round draft pick either this year or next year. Because of trades that have already been made, the teams in question, Phoenix and Washington, may not have their 1st-round selection for the 2005 draft. Thus, they cannot trade their 2004 1st-round pick. So they'll go up, pick the player, and then a trade can be done with the team. It's somewhat legalese, somewhat hard to understand, but that's why they are proposed trades, not done deals now. David, Dallas intrigues me because if they're up there at 5, is this all part of their big picture, trying to acquire assets and make a move or a run at Shaquille O'Neal?
Absolutely, Mike. You know, at 5, they've been trying all day to move back. They called Cleveland at 10. They called Utah at 14, called Boston at 15. The reason is a 7'5" center from Russia named Pavel Podkolzin. This is a guy that they would like to take and perhaps put in a package with other players for Shaquille O'Neal. The problem is they're not sure they want to take him at 5. So they're trying to get other assets. The problem is they want teams to take on bad contracts. They called Utah and asked to take Tirico Abdul-Wahid, who has a huge contract. This is something most teams aren't going to do. They called Cleveland. They wanted to try and get Zydrunas Ilgauskas and then redirect him to L.A. in an offer for Shaquille O'Neal. So Dallas at 5, I think, is the action team in the 1st round. Until we know exactly what they do with that pick, that's the rest of the 1st round is going to be in flux.
So although the names are not as big as last year's draft, we have intrigue at 1, at 2, the Clippers at 4, and here at the 5 spot, Chicago at 3 and 7 as well. I want to go back to the other veteran, big name on the trading block, Tracy McGrady. Any updates there?
Well, there's a couple of updates. First of all, Steve Francis is going to meet with Rich DeVos, the Magic's owner, this weekend. He's going to sit down with him. He'd get a feel for Rich DeVos. He's done some homework. He likes Rich DeVos very much. Steve also talked to a couple of friends of his, very close friends of his, Nick Van Exel and Sam Cassell, guys who've been traded before, guys with whom he has a business relationship and a personal relationship. He feels much more comfortable about Orlando, but he wants to see for himself. I can tell you this, Mike, if he goes down to Orlando and he doesn't like what he sees and he tells the Magic that, the Orlando Magic are going to go to Phoenix and see if they can trade Tracy McGrady to Phoenix. That's not a, you know, we don't know if that's going to happen because Steve is comfortable right now with the Magic. But if he says he's not for whatever reason, they're going to go back to Phoenix and see if they can restart talks with the Suns.
Poor John Weisbrod has taken over as the general manager in Orlando. This is his 1st draft, and John has Tracy McGrady trading one of the 5 or 6 best players in the NBA and a decision with the number 1 pick on his plate, trying to sort all that out. It's been a busy couple of days for John. His phone has been ringing for sure over the last couple of days.
I don't feel sorry for him. Let me repeat myself. I do not feel sorry for John Weisbrod. You just became the general manager for the Orlando Magic a few months ago, and my goodness, you have the number 1 overall pick in the draft and a superstar that everybody wants to trade a marquee talent in order to get. That is not a bad position for the Orlando Magic to be in, including Mr. John Weisbrod. As a matter of fact, he should feel lucky.
I think once you make over 6 figures, you know, forget about feeling sorry for him. You'd be happy with yourself, right? You're Orlando. You get to play golf. You got the Disney World down there. I mean, it's cool. Not that bad, is it?
No, it's not that bad, but he's got a hard choice to make here.
It's not that hard.
It's not that hard.
Take Okafor.
We'll see if they take Emeka Okafor when the draft gets started here at the bottom of the hour. There are so many other players, and just remember, as we talk about teams, assets, pawns, people, this is a great individual human story tonight because some of these young men are living a lifelong dream. They will be first-round picks in the NBA draft. Let's visit with a couple of them, including a guy who made great strides in headlines in college basketball this year. He's interviewed by our colleague, Mark Jones. Mark?
Yeah, Jameer Nelson, the college basketball player of the year, and I'm told by some family members here, the father of the year, Jameer Jr., right behind us, has a birthday coming up, going to turn 3 soon. Hey, this has been a nice ride for you. A year ago at this time, you decided to go back to school. Here you are a year later. How have you increased your chances of becoming a lottery pick?
Well, hopefully I increased them a lot, but, you know, I'm very fortunate to be in this situation, so, you know, I can't say more. Just leave it up to God, man.
On paper, anyway, there are some other point guards rated ahead of you. How has that served as motivation for you?
Well, I mean, those guys deserve to be ranked ahead of me. We all, you know, bring different things to the table. So really, to me, it's not who's ranked ahead or who's ranked behind. It's whatever team needs.
Good luck in trying to get your son to go to bed tonight, huh?
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Thanks for joining us. Let's go to Stewart with Devin Harris.
Mark, from a guy who decided to go back to school one more year to a guy who decides to forego his senior year, Devin Harris. Devin, with you next year, Wisconsin to be a top 5 team in the nation, you might be National Player of the Year. I know you agonized about the decision. Why did you decide to go pro early?
It was just, you know, once my coach, we felt it was necessary for me to go. This kind of opportunity you can't pass up. And I mean, it was tough to leave a school like that, Wisconsin. I love those guys to death, but this is kind of the best decision for me.
Some people have called you quicker than TJ Ford. That's like lightning quick. How do you know you're strong enough to play in the NBA?
Well, like I said, you don't have to be as strong. You got to be quick to avoid the hits. And, you know, TJ's done a great job with it, and hopefully I can do the same. I mean, if you can get around guys, they can't hit you.
All right. From one point guard, we go back to Jonesy to another point guard.
Yeah, Ben Gordon from UConn. Got about 35 friends and family members here from nearby Mount Vernon. You can almost hear them all right now. Ben, your workouts were lights out by all accounts. How did you allay any fears that GMs may have had about you being a shooting guard in a point guard's body?
No, I just went in there and just tried to, you know, play my game. You know, obviously they get to watch you a lot closer, you know, so I was able to, you know, display some other things that I could do that, you know, they may have not seen during the year.
What's it been like going through this whole process with your teammate, Emeka Okafor? Not many guys get a chance to do that, especially both of you looking like first-round guys.
It's been a good experience. You know, he's been calling me, you know, asking me about some of the workouts and things like that. But I kind of joked with him, like, you only got to work out for one team, 1 or 2 teams, so why you asking me about any workouts for? But it's good, you know, to have somebody in the same position as you.
All right, thanks a lot for joining us, and good luck. Hey, his nickname is Gentle Ben, Mike, but his game speaks volumes loudly. Back to you.
I remember his freshman year, I tried to give him the nickname Madison Square Gordon because he had an unbelievable Big East tournament. He always played well on this stage, just a train ride away from where he grew up in Mount Vernon, New York. Still a lot to do as we move closer to the first pick in the 2004 NBA draft. Okafor or Howard, that drama awaits. These two guys just try to look cool and kill time until they find out where their next home is going to be. All these players, they're good, but they're still a work in progress.
Not even, man.
The NBA draft.
ESPN, baby.
Come on, where are your lines, man?
When suddenly, in the rearview mirror, he saw the face!
Remember your first s'mores? Introducing new Hershey S'mores. Hershey milk chocolate on soft, chewy marshmallow and crunchy graham cracker bits. Hershey S'mores, a new way to enjoy a classic.
Speed Stick 24/7 gives you proven non-stop protection. With time-release sweat and odor fighters, Speed Stick's always there when you need it the most. Speedstick 24/7. It never quits.
Polite society tells us that it's rude to stare. But then along came the 2005 Nissan Altima. With a new, redesigned interior, a state-of-the-art navigation system, and a sleek, new, refined exterior. So go ahead, stare. Frankly, it'd be rude not to.
This program on The Score brought to you by the 2005 Nissan Altima.
Emeka Okafor on the phone. Who knows if it's work-related or if it's somebody saying good luck tonight. In any case, Mark Jones is standing by with the other man who may be the #1 pick in the draft right out of high school from Atlanta, Georgia, Dwight Howard.
Yeah, from a player whose favorite movie is Fine Night for you and your family. Dwight, tell us exactly, a lot has been made about the relationship between you.
I think we have a growing relationship. You know, he's a great guy. It's my first time meeting him, you know, and he's been very nice to me, you know what I'm saying, and I'm just happy to be around him.
Part of the plan with you going to whichever NBA team selects you includes your cousin living with you. What was the idea behind that, and whose decision was that?
Well, that was my parents' decision, you know, and he's there for support off the court, you know, emotionally, and just to be there with me.
You got a new graduation present not that long ago, a brand new BMW. Tell us about it.
It was nice. It's very fast. You know, I went from a 84 Crown Vic that doesn't do nothing but go up to 84 miles an hour to a car that goes up to 160, so it's real good.
All right, thanks a lot for joining us. Hey, BMW, Mike, stands for Big Man's Wagon right now. Back to you.
Yeah, he's got to fit in to jump from high school onto the NBA stage. How will Dwight Howard do from a basketball skill standpoint?
Well, from a skill standpoint, he reminds you very much of a Kevin Garnett with his skills because he can step away from the basket. He's a graceful athlete with great court awareness and a great feel. The fact that he can step away and put the ball on the floor, he's a pretty decent shooter with a very nice touch, and he is very ball friendly. This young man has terrific footwork that you don't often find in a guy his size. When you take a look at his skill set and exactly what he can do, he has high numbers in just about everything. He has a very nice touch. He's a good passer defensively. He can block shots with either hand, which is very unusual, and he's an outstanding athlete. The only question when you make the comparison with Kevin Garnett is, does he have the same drive and determination as a Kevin Garnett? Does he want to be great? Because at times he can be a little bit soft, but he is an 18-year-old kid.
Yeah, and Dick Vitale would bring you back in from Florida. That's one of the things with all the high school players. A lot of great talent and a lot of unknowns with them as well.
You know, Mike, we talk about Dwight Howard, certainly, as Jay said, great athletic ability, but we never know. I heard all those great reviews about Kwame Brown, Tyson Chandler. There's always that question mark. That's why this draft is potential, potential, potential. That's why I loved it 2 decades ago when David Stern stood there 20 years ago, and the names were Olajuwon, Bowie, and guys like Jordan, and people like Barkley and Stockton. There was never any doubt that they would be factors in the NBA. Now we got a developmental draft. Yes, you look at Howard, you say potential, you hope and pray. It becomes a draft of hoping and praying, man. You go to bed at night and you pray. Please let him be a star.
And Dick, the draft of 74, 10 years before that, 12 All-Stars, including George Gervin, Bill Walton, Maurice Lucas, among others.
Well, how about last year? I mean, last year was an impact draft. You know, so it's not all developmental. It's developmental this year, but last year was an impact draft.
All I know is when I first got drafted, I bought a car that went 180 miles an hour too, and it was cool, but $400 tickets bite. I just say that right now, so be careful.
Well, when it comes
in my mind when I hear about Dwight Howard. I think Charlotte is a perfect situation for him. I personally hope he does land at number 2 because remember, this is an expansion franchise. Nobody's expecting anything from them. You're happy you got a basketball team. You're not going to win for the first 3 years or so, and that gives Dwight Howard the time he needs to develop into that superstar that everybody believes he's going to be. He has a tremendous upside. We all know that, but you can afford to be developmental when you're in an expansion franchise. Going to the Orlando Magic, you don't have time for that.
Orlando and Charlotte will be in the same division, the reconstituted NBA in the Southeast Division. So Okafor and Howard, no matter where they end up, will get to know each other. Who will end up where? We'll start finding out in a few minutes.
This program on The Score brought to you by Mott's Clamato Caesars. Not recommended for everyone.
Mott's Clamato Caesar. Not recommended for everyone.
The story continues Wednesday.
How do you protect your car from damaging UV rays? Try Armor. Armor All Protectant. It does more than clean and shine. It protects. Now more than ever with our best UV formula.
The multi-Canadian $100,000 Rockstar Road Trip. Find a platinum bottle and you can have 48 hours to blow $100,000 from coast to coast. And you can't have anything to show for it. What are you going to do? Must be no purchase necessary.
Josh Smith, just one of the 8, maybe 9, most likely 8 players will be seen taken in the first round straight out of high school. Sean Livingston, the point guard from Peoria Central in Illinois as well. Jay, that's a lot. That'll be a record number of high schoolers taken in the first round. We'll talk later about the big picture implication. Which guys can come in and be a factor early on?
Not very many. I mean, you're going to have to wait on all of them just about because it's going to take some time for them to develop, whether it's Al Jefferson or Sean Livingston. If you've got the number 4 pick and you're the Clippers and you need a point guard, I think you take Devin Harris because he can come in and play right away. Sean Livingston may wind up being the best player in this entire draft 5 years down the road, but you're going to have to wait a while.
I think Howard will be an impact player because of the situation he'll land in Charlotte. They'll have no choice but to rely on him. And I think Al Jefferson, I'm sorry, I mean, you know, that could happen. These guys are rugged. Anytime you got that kind of skills, people are going to look at you.
You don't want to say anything?
No, not really.
You will see a record number of high school players our entire first half of the first round, maybe 15 to 30. Could be high schoolers or international players. Well, hot into the collar, Emeka. We'll find out where you and Dwight are going coming up next.
Who am I?
It is the Emeka Okafor show.
I am the future.
Alley-oop and a dunk.
I am you. Need.
Lots of ladies, huh? She's got hungry eyes, and I am an all-you-can-eat buffet.
Small can, strong beer. New Molson Canadian 6.0 cold shots.
We've been coming here for years. Suddenly, everybody has a laptop. What gives?
It's a hotspot.
A hotspot?
A hotspot, broadband, wireless, a tipping point. One hotspot, a blip. 10, a novelty. Then the game of business changes. Billions of dollars fly through the air.
Billions?
Billions. Watch your head.
How's our security?
If it weren't for men like Sean, the art of building rock walls would long be gone. But too much sun and wind dries out his skin. Good thing he washes up with Irish Spring. It's a moisturizing soap that leaves your skin feeling fresh and healthy, and it delivers pro-vitamin E. Now Sean has the smoothest skin in town, with lasses gathered all around. Irish Spring Vitamin Soap. It's good for your skin.
With the dribble, he's widening with every stride. With the dribble has done it. He wins the Peter Stakes. They're in the final furlong, and Canada salutes another Triple Crown champion. And the queen of Canadian racing is going to wear the crown, the Triple Crown.
The road to immortality begins with the Queen's Plate, June 27th, live on The Score.
Next generation has arrived.
Who am I?
This place is going crazy. Block the shot.
I am a smooth, strong, explosive, hungry, clever, multi-talented, pass, make, shot block, star. We are the NBA future. We are who you need.
They are college stars, high school stars, international phenoms. Their parents have come from distinct, different, in some cases difficult backgrounds. They have arrived, though, on the doorstep of the NBA, and now we'll find out where they will go. The 2004 NBA Draft set to get started. These are the faces. Now we'll know the places. Here's the commissioner of the NBA, David Stern.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the NBA Draft at the Theater at Madison Square Garden. In New York City, home of the Knicks and the WNBA's Liberty. To our fans watching on ESPN and in over 200 countries around the globe and logging on to NBA.com, thank you for joining us, and thank you for supporting us in this record-breaking season. And of course, to the NBA faithful convened here tonight, thank you for joining us. The first pick in the 2004 NBA Draft will be made by the Orlando Magic, who have 5 minutes to make their selection.
5 minutes between each selection in the first round, and just for perspective, a couple of years ago, the Orlando Magic were up 3-1 on the Detroit Pistons, knocking on the door of the second round of the playoffs. Lost that game, fell back 21 games to 21-61 since then. Got the #1 pick in this year's draft. They've had number ones before, winning the lottery in '92 to get Shaquille O'Neal. Then in 1993, the next year, Pat Williams, the lucky charm himself, there as they got the #1 pick. Chris Webber was drafted. A trade eventually made Penny Hardaway the man who was the body to go with that #1 pick in Orlando. But as we detailed earlier, John Weisbrod is in replacing John Gabriel as the general manager. There's a lot on their plate, including their big star, Tracy McGrady, asking for a trade. Really, Orlando hearing what he said about staying, and Tracy's kind of telling them, I want out if we're going to rebuild. But, Stephen, they do need to rebuild now.
There's no question about it. They were awful last year. They won 21 games. All they had was Tracy McGrady. They definitely need a change. That's why they're talking to Houston. That's why they're talking to Phoenix. That's why they're going to be talking to anybody that's willing to make a formidable offer for Tracy McGrady's services. You don't need just one play anymore. You've got to start thinking about rebuilding everything. And quality players for Tracy McGrady. You've got to go ahead and do that if you're the Orlando Magic, because obviously their history has shown you can't just rely on one superstar because they might leave you.
Another thing history has shown is that over the past 15, 20 years, to win a championship, you need guys who can defend the bucket. Aside from maybe the Chicago Bulls, who are great with perimeter defenders, with Scottie Pippen, Michael Jordan, Ron Harper. If Francis comes, if Mobley comes, those are big ifs, and you get Cato. Let's say you draft Emeka Okafor. You have Cato, you have Okafor, you have two guys that can defend the basket, which they can do. Well, they can defend any part of the basketball court last year. The back court, the front court, the side court, it didn't matter where they defended. They couldn't get it done. But that's where you start. Defensively, being able to protect your own bucket, and that may give them a good head start.
They were last in points allowed, field goal percentage, three-point percentage. If Dwight Howard ends up as their pick, not Emeka Okafor, what kind of player will Orlando get?
They'd be getting a player with tremendous potential to be great. A skill set that would remind you of Kevin Garnett, as we mentioned before. He is a graceful athlete with a cut body that can run the floor. He's got a great feel. He's got a 35-inch vertical leap and a 7'4" wingspan, and he is skilled. He has great hands. He can score with either hand around the basket, and he's got spectacular footwork for a kid who's 18 years old and 6'10" tall. With his ability to pass it and his great instinctive feel, this young man is going to be a player. What I really like about him is his ability to block shots with either hand. He's ambidextrous as a shot blocker and blocks shots with ease. What does he need to do? He needs to get a go-to move and strength in the post. He does not have a refined post game. He's a little bit more comfortable in facing the basket, and he doesn't yet know exactly what he is as a player. I think he's got to play a little bit more inside, but he does have the ability to step outside as well, and that's attractive.
It's so interesting because last year LeBron James was the #1 overall pick, and I think most of the country had a very large comfort level with what LeBron James as a player could do because he was on ESPN and ESPN2 a lot. Not as many people are as familiar with Dwight Howard, in addition to a very talented young man as a player, a first-class individual, so a guy who will fit in whatever franchise like Emeka Okafor and be cornerstones for the franchise that is coming out of a negative time right now.
Yeah, he's got very good maturity for a kid his age, but when you compare his maturity to that of Emeka Okafor, he's not there yet. But he's just 18 years old, and it's just a question, do you want to wait on his potential, or do you want to go with the sure thing? I think you go with Okafor. That's just me. Reasonable minds could differ on that.
I'm saying Orlando needs a sure thing. You cannot play a guessing game in this situation. And what I mean by a guessing game, I'm not talking about whether or not Dwight Howard can play. We know he can play. We know he's got star written all over him. You don't want to knock him in any way. A fantastic kid. But Emeka Okafor is proven. And if you're the Orlando Magic, you do not have the luxury of the Charlotte franchise being an expansion franchise where a community is patiently waiting for you. Orlando wants something productive now. Oh, Emeka Okafor is the man. He's the answer.
Nothing.
The beauty of the whole Orlando situation is that they have Grant Hill. And they're certainly lived through the injury situation with Grant Hill. But you have to wonder if that is on their mind if there are questions about Emeka Okafor's back. No more questions. Here's the answer. Here's the commissioner.
With the first pick in the 2004 NBA draft, the Orlando Magic select Dwight Howard from Southwest Christian Academy.
You have to remember some of the reaction in the house will be from Connecticut fans who are from just a couple of hours away. And as you would expect, first-class Emeka Okafor with a handshake there for Dwight Howard, who becomes the third high school player taken #1 overall in the last 4 years of the NBA draft. Kwame Brown with Washington. And, of course, last year, LeBron James, Cleveland. And now 18-year-old out of Southwest Atlanta Christian High School, Dwight Howard, taken by the Orlando Magic. His proud father, a state trooper down there, is standing by with Mark Jones.
State trooper that took a little time off of his job to spend more time with his son. When did you find out? Was it just now along with everyone else?
Just now. Praise the Lord. Thank you.
You have a support system set up for your son that we talked about a few moments ago. Did you spearhead that movement?
Yes, I will be. I have my nephew will be on a 24/7 basis with him, but I'll be managing my nephew and both Dwight.
You have seen him virtually the same school, in the same environment since the time he was 2 years old. Now he ventures out into the NBA with all of its distractions and other variables out there. How do you expect your son to handle that?
I think that he'll do tremendously well. He relies greatly on his support group. We know that it's going to be a learning process for us, everything that we would need to go through, but we're going to support him all the way to the end.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Back to you, Mike.
And Mark, as we look at some of Dwight Howard and why he became the third high schooler taken #1 in the last 4 years, guys, you surprised?
Well, here's the thing. I haven't seen him play. All I can go by is what I've read, a couple highlights, what Jay said. We talked about development and can the Orlando Magic afford to wait. We don't know how long they're going to have to wait. It could be 6 months. It could be a year and a half, too. We don't know, and he very well could be worth that wait. Now, I differ with Stephen a little bit in the fact that I don't think Orlando's going anywhere in the next 3 or 4 years. So you do have that ability to wait, and if you did get a superstar and you draft the #1 3 or 4 years from now, you're going to be looking pretty smart. But to say they don't have time to wait, I don't even know how long they would have to wait for a guy like this.
I just disagree with that, quite frankly. I think when I look at the Orlando Magic, I'm saying if you're talking to Houston, you're talking about Cato, Francis, and Coutinho Mobley. If you're talking to Phoenix, you're talking about Sean Marion and probably Joe Johnson. If you're talking to a multitude of teams, you're talking about them trading somebody that's more than marginable, more than serviceable, somebody that's tinkering on the brink of stardom at the very least. You pair that with a guy like Emeka Okafor who can anchor your defense. That matters. It means something. You compare it, you put it with Dwight Howard, then you've got to hope instead of knowing. That's my thing.
But does that take them ahead of Detroit or Indiana? See, to me, it doesn't. So that's why they can afford to wait.
Dwight Howard's going to be really good. I don't think there's any question about that. Is he going to be great? Does he have the drive, the determination? We will see. But I think Okafor, one thing that people are overlooking, he's got the chance to get better as well. The idea that he's too mechanical and not refined, baloney. He's going to get better, and I think he may make Orlando regret this.
And here he is with Stuart Scott. Stu.
Mike, so far now that Dwight has sat down, I have counted 3 different times that Dwight has gone, whew. You have dreamed about being the top overall pick in the draft. How does the dream compare to the reality?
It's really hard to explain, you know. I thank God just for allowing me to sit right here, be the first person selected, you know. Just feels so good.
You are either going #1 to Orlando or #2 to Charlotte. How do you think other people's expectations will change just because you are the top pick?
Well, you know, now it's going to be based on my work ethic, you know. A lot of people will question that, and, you know, I just want to go out there and prove all the doubters wrong. Just keep working hard and just keeping God first, and everything will fall in line.
People have said that sometimes you get a little too mellow on the court. What do you do to change that?
Well, I just need to go out there and play hard every night. That's what I do. You know, what everybody says is they don't know what's really going on in my heart. You know, I don't like to open my mouth a lot, but, you know, I'm strong.
You're also the #1 overall pick. His nickname is Choir Boy. He loves gospel music, no rap, no cursing. #1 pick. Congratulations, Dwight Howard. Mike, let's go back to you.
Saw Mom Cheryl, emotional high school teacher there. Now, the #2 pick belongs to the Charlotte Bobcats. 2 years ago, the Charlotte Hornets were in the National Basketball Association, as Mrs. Howard is so excited by her son's moment. To the Charlotte story for a second. Remember, the Charlotte Hornets were there just 2 short seasons ago. They leave and go to New Orleans. New expansion team, 30th team in the NBA, the Charlotte Bobcats. This person will be the face of the franchise, much like Rex Chapman was 2 decades ago.
With the second pick in the 2004 NBA draft, the NBA's 30th and newest team, the Charlotte Bobcats, select Emeka Okafor from the University of Connecticut.
His dad had to survive and exist around a Civil War war-torn nation in Nigeria. This young man has come to America, found Houston as a home, and over 3 years, as you see his dad, Pius, Emeka Okafor became a poster boy for everything that is great about college basketball. Handling everything with first class, representing the University of Connecticut very well off the floor, his 3.8 grade point average, getting his finance degree in 3 years, and Jay Bilas winning the national championship this past April.
This couldn't have worked out any better for Charlotte. Emeka Okafor is a shot-blocking Buck Williams. He, I think, has the potential to be a lot like Alonzo Mourning. He is NBA ready right now. He's got great timing, terrific shot-blocking instincts, and he's a terrific rebounder, a guy who really relentlessly goes after the ball. He has improved offensively year to year. He's got very good hands. He does not shoot free throws well. That's something he's going to really have to work on, and he's going to have to work on his post game to get a go-to move in the post. But I think this is an outstanding pick by the Charlotte Bobcats. They've got to be really pleased that he is the face of their new franchise. You know, when you talk about a guy who can go after it and is as explosive as Emeka Okafor, he can really, really improve a team and anchor a defense. And he frees you up with his shot blocking ability so that other guys can go out and defend on the perimeter. And that can't be overstated, the importance of that, because he can erase a lot of defensive mistakes. The post, that's one area he's going to have to improve. He's going to have to get a little face-up jump shot to keep people honest, and he's really going to have to improve his free throw shooting.
Dick Vitale, 6 other expansion teams going back over the last 15 years or so. 2 of them started with big men: Vancouver, Bryant Reeves; Miami, Ronnie Cycli. But Emeka Okafor brings a different skill set when he goes to Charlotte.
You know, I'll tell you, Mike, what a great choice. They're going to be dancing with joy in Charlotte, with jubilation. When you look certainly at Howard going #1, certainly a young man who seems like a beautiful guy, great family, very skilled, but loads of potential. Okafor's played 103 games on the collegiate level. But you know what? More I think about Orlando, think about this. They let Shaq go, major mistake. Tracy McGrady, they don't keep him happy, major mistake. And you know what? 10 years, man, they're going to regret not taking Mr. Okafor, who is a can't miss in this league for 10 years.
Let's visit with Emeka right now. Dickie's standing by with Stuart Scott. Stu?
Mike, thanks a lot. Emeka, before today, a lot of people, maybe most people, thought you would be the top overall pick. From a competitive standpoint, how disappointed are you that you weren't top?
I see myself, I'm too fortunate right now. You know, I'm a firm believer that everything happens for a reason. You know, I put things in God's hand, and you know, he has my best interest, so I just go with the flow. He points me in the direction, I go there.
Well, you guys are in the same division as Orlando, so, you know, whenever you want next season, you can kind of take it out on him. Everybody talks about you being a guy who's into his books and who's into his basketball, and, like, that's it. What else do you like to do, dog?
I'm a regular guy. You know, I like having my fun, you know, and I'm just, you know, I like going out, going to movies, hanging with my friends, and you know, I just happen to be good at school and, you know, can bounce a ball.
A regular guy who can block shots with the best of them. Mike, this guy once took a final exam in college for a class he didn't even go to just to see if he could do it. He got a B. That's the kind of hard work the Bobcats will get.
And it has paid off, Stuart. Let's bring in the man who will be his head coach and general manager at the Charlotte Bobcats via video conference, one of our 18 around the league, Bernie Bickerstaff. Bernie, what was the reaction in the room when you found out Orlando was taking Dwight Howard?
We were elated. We want to build our basketball team around defense, and he represents the best.
Did you have any sense that Orlando was going to take Howard?
Yeah, we had spoken to John earlier this morning, and he conveyed that that would be their choice.
As you build the rest of your team, the expansion draft was held 2 days ago. You have some pieces, athletic pieces, kind of 6'7", 6'8" players. What's the next step for this franchise after this draft is done? Acquiring somebody in free agency?
Well, the draft isn't over yet. We've got some things that's pending. It just depends on how the draft goes.
And are you guys still looking to get in the first round here?
We would like to.
Okay. Well, so are you close to anything?
I think we have choices, but it's contingent upon people being there that we'd like to make a move on.
We will see if that happens. You want to tell us the guys who you're trying to wait for?
Mike.
Bernie. Talk to you later. Thanks.
It's a stalemate.
Thank you, Bernie. Gotta ask the question. Bernie Bickerstaff, Chicago's on the clock. They have the third pick. They will be again in the first round at 7. We'll explain why in a little bit. Let's find out the first piece for the Bulls in the 2004 draft. Back to the commissioner.
With the third pick in the 2004 NBA draft, the Chicago Bulls select Ben Gordon from the University of Connecticut.
So back-to-back members of the national championship Connecticut team are taken. Go back to 1979. Michigan State was the national champion, and Magic Johnson was taken first and Greg Kelcher fourth. If you add those up, that would be a total of first and fourth 5. Second, Okafor. Third, Gordon adds up to 5. So a quarter of a century later, national championship teammates go in similar spots in the draft. Junior Ben Gordon taken by Connecticut. Tom, fit for Chicago, Ben Gordon.
Well, you got Kurt Heinrich already, who plays point guard. So the thing is, can Ben Gordon at 6'3" play some point? I mean, offensively, the guy can do everything. He can shoot from the outside. He can break you down. He can get to the rim. He can flush on you. I don't think there's anything he can't do offensively. But with his size, he's going to have to play a little bit of point guard in the NBA. That's the only question I have. Can he do that?
And it's a fair question, Tom, whether he can play the point. But I think in today's NBA, how many true point guards are there out there? Well, maybe a handful, half a dozen. Ben Gordon is a dynamic and explosive scorer. He's only 6'1" without his shoes on, but he's got a 6'8" wingspan, and he is explosive and quick. I love him as a player. He can score points, he can guard, he can rebound, and he can also pass the ball. He just needs to make better decisions with it.
Third time in the common draft going back to 1966, that's 48 years, that a pair of teammates have been taken in the top 3. Dick Vitale somewhere down in the Carolinas. Jim Calhoun probably played a round of golf today and is probably smiling, very proud of his guys.
Well, you know, Mike, he's got to be very proud of winner's mentality. Chicago and John Paxson just made a great choice. No doubt, this kid can shoot the basketball, great at the free throw line. He can break it down, and all the critics will say, oh, well, he's got to make the conversion, doesn't handle well. They said that about a guy named Chauncey Billups. He's standing tall now, and his trophy case looks like yours, Mike. He's got the beautiful trophy that says MVP in the NBA championships. A great choice for Chicago. The last 6 years have been a disaster. They finally made a great choice. Didn't make a great choice when they traded Elton Brand for a high school kid, but we'll talk about that on another day.
In the last decade, the University of Connecticut's had 6 top 10 picks. Ben Gordon's the 6th. He's with Stewart.
Thanks a lot, Mike. Ben, there are a lot of guards out there that could have been selected. Why do you think the Bulls chose you at number 3?
I believe I'm just, the most versatile guard. As far as my size, strength, my shooting ability, my playmaking skills, I think I was the best guard available.
Last year when the U.S. national team was practicing in Manhattan, you went to just watch. Why?
Yeah, I'm a student of the game, so why not, if you have the opportunity to go watch the best basketball players in the world and just try and pick up things that you can learn, So it was a great learning experience for me, and I learned a lot.
This guy's nickname, Mike, is Gentle Ben. Do not be fooled. My man has got a sick, deadly jump shot.
2 juniors who come out of Connecticut go 2-3 in the draft. The Clippers are on the clock. We'll find out what they do. And then some interest at the 5 spot as we continue with the 2004 NBA draft with a big Connecticut field.
Emeka Okafor.
And I'm Ben Gordon.
And you're watching the NBA draft on ESPN. Come on, what are you allowing? See what a degree does.
I never went to class, man.
Closed captioning brought to you by Tremclad Rust Paints. More people paint and protect more things with Tremclad than all other rust paints combined. Trust Tremclad on metal.
Speedstick 24/7 gives you proven non-stop protection. With time-release sweat and odor fighters, Speedstick's always there when you need it the most. Speedstick 24/7, it never quits.
Hey, yo, Thirst, let me get a Sprite.
No doubt. What's better than Sprite when it's hotter than a devil's drawers out?
Oh, here he goes.
I'm serious. That thirst-quenching lemon lime hitting the back of your throat, splatter out. Name one thing that's better. You can't. There is nothing better. I dare you. I defy you to name one thing. All right, name 2. Show him my motto.
New Sprite remix, very clear. It's Sprite with a burst of berry flavor.
The house back to the lake. I like that. And I could afford it. I couldn't.
Hey, Mom.
Hey, Scotty. How's dinner with Sarah?
Oh, it's good, good. I'm gonna head over to Jimmy's, and Sarah's gonna head home.
Okay. Just don't be too late.
Cool. See ya.
That's Scotty. Everything all right?
Remember our first date?
Share more minutes, share more moments with Family Plan. Only from Rogers Wireless.
Hi.
What's this?
It's our winning can.
It's not a winning can. Sorry.
If you and two friends want into the Coors Light Maxim golf experience, all you have to do is look for the winning bottle or can in specially marked cases of Coors Light. Check out Maxim on newsstands or go to CoorsLight.ca for details. You could spend the day with some Maxim cans.
What's next?
Coors Light. It's golf done differently.
The commissioner.
With the 4th pick in the 2004 NBA draft, the Los Angeles Clippers select Sean Livingston from Peoria Central High School.
So we've had 2 Connecticut players and 2 high school players taken in the first 4 picks of this draft. Sean Livingston, 6'7", was going to go to Duke if he didn't make the jump to the NBA. Here's a kid who played with the high school kids when he was in 4th grade. Next year, he'll be a couple of months removed from high school, playing with the guys in the NBA.
Not ready to play right now. Livingston is 6'7", an absolute magician with the basketball, a creative handler and passer. And boy, Mike, is he long. He's got a 6'11" wingspan. I think he's going to be an outstanding player. Needs to improve his shot, though. Not a good shooter.
Andy Katz covers college basketball for us all year round. Has been watching the high school beat leading up to this draft. Andy, your thoughts on these 2 high school players going in the top 4 with Livingston here?
Well, first of all, Mike, unlike Dwight Howard, who had really basically decided last July that he was going to enter the NBA draft, Sean Livingston waited down to the final couple of weeks. He did not sign with an agent until the last couple of weeks. In fact, he was so committed to this process, he drove up from Peoria, Illinois, up to Chicago to Hoops the Gym to work out every weekend with Tim Grover because he still was holding out hope that he might go to Duke. His grandfather wanted him to go to Duke. In fact, back in April, Mike Krzyzewski went out, gave the pitch to Sean Livingston that maybe he should go there for at least 1 season. And Livingston really thought about this, that if he wasn't going to go in the top 5, that he should go to Duke. So he really agonized over this decision.
It's been a dozen years since the Clippers took a point guard with their first-round pick, Randy Woods, back in '92. But now Livingston here in 2004. Jay, let's talk for a second about Livingston and show people why he has a lot of potential.
Well, because he's a true point guard. I mean, he really can see the floor, and as we mentioned before, an absolute magician with the basketball. The ball is an extension of his hand. Very creative with the ball in his hands. I think he's going to be an outstanding player, but it's going to take him a period of years. We mentioned he's long-armed with a 6'11" wingspan. He's a playmaker that sees the floor. The problem is he's physically weak. In the Chicago pre-draft camp, he couldn't lift 185 pounds in the bench press off his chest even once. Now he's just 18. That's going to improve. His length is incredible. And with that 6'11" wingspan, he is still growing. He is going to get stronger. His shot needs a lot of improvement. He shoots a flat ball, but he can rise up in the lane over you and shoot over you. I think we could look back, Mike, in 5 or 6 years and say that Sean Livingston was the best prospect in this draft. That's the kind of upside he's got. He's got Magic Johnson type skills. Is he as good as Magic Johnson? No. Right. But he's got that kind of game.
He'll be playing for Mike Dunleavy, the Clippers coach, and he's standing by right now with Stuart Scott.
Mike, obviously Sean got the message about the pinstripe suit, man. I left it for you. I didn't know if you were going to get it, but you got it? Yeah. All right, cool. You once led an 8th grade team to a city championship when you were in 4th grade, so you've been among older players before. What kind of expectations do you have of yourself this year?
I look to make a contribution sooner than later. You know what I mean? I'm looking to take a positive momentum, winning attitude, high skill level, and just, a tough work ethic into the Los Angeles Clippers.
Now you're 6'7", you're about $1 maybe 190, maybe with all the clothes on. Jay just said you got to get stronger. How do you get stronger quickly?
Preparation. preparation, training, nutrition, all of it. You know, it's going to take dedication. It's going to take work ethic. But, you know, you can't be lazy and expect to have results.
Jay mentioned that 185. You can get that up now, right?
Oh, yeah. I'm working on that, yeah.
That's past tense now. He only weighs 180, man. Come on, Jay. Give him a break right there. Sean Livingston, congratulations, man. All right. Mike.
Thank you, Stu. Proud day in Peoria, Illinois. By the way, Ralph Lawler, the longtime voice of the LA Clippers, also from Peoria. So you got Peoria Pal out there when you head to Clipperland. Now, Washington is on the clock. Before I get to that, I want to tell you about Dwight Howard, who in his press conference with the rest of the media said a couple of minutes ago he knew all day that Orlando was going to take him at the #1 pick. Obviously, Emeka Okafor didn't know that. The Bobcats did, so you know the background on that story. Now, Washington's on the clock. I'll take you back to August of 2001. Washington and Orlando made a trade for Brendan Haywood. Why is that important? Because a future #1 in the 2005 draft was in that deal. Because of that, this proposed trade that we've been talking about for 2 days cannot go down until the pick is made, because you must have your pick in 1 of 2 consecutive years, your first overall pick, or your first round pick in the draft, as your possession. That's why the trade can't happen until the pick is made. David, even though it's Washington on the clock down here on the screen, in fact, Dallas is the team interested in this selection.
That's right, Mike, and you still hear talk. They have been trying all day to move down, and one of the things that came closest was a deal with Philadelphia. It would have sent this pick and Jerry Stackles, who they got yesterday, to Philadelphia, where he started his career with Allen Iverson in exchange for 9 and Glenn Robinson. Now, I was told about 15 minutes ago that right now this deal is not being done, but that it could conceivably be resurrected. If you see this guy, if you see Andre Iguodala or Kirk Snyder picked here, you may start thinking about something.
All right, let's not wait any longer. Let's go up to NBA Commissioner David Stern. Again, this is Washington's pick, but in reality, Dallas's player.
With the 5th pick in the 2004 NBA Draft, the Washington Wizards select Devin Harris from the University of Wisconsin.
Right there with Sean Livingston, with the point guards talked about a late decision to stay in the draft after coming out of the University of Wisconsin. Another junior, so 3 college juniors who had a year of eligibility left have come out to go to the NBA draft, and here the pick will belong to Dallas. Who knows for how long?
Well, it's interesting simply because Dallas needs a point guard. If they make the move and trade for Shaq, the Lakers will need a point guard.
Because Steve Nash is a free agent.
Exactly.
Who might not be there next
That's
year.
right, and he's going to be gone, and he's looking to go to Phoenix if Phoenix doesn't go after Kobe. So it's a very interesting pick. I hear a lot of things about this kid. The Clippers was telling everybody how much they wanted this kid.
Really quick off the dribble. He's 6'3", so he's got size. Another kid with a long wingspan, about a 6'8" wingspan, and he can get by you off the dribble. He is a streaky shooter, but he can make shots, and I will tell you, he hits big ones against Michigan State earlier this year. He knocked down some huge shots to beat the Spartans, and he does that with regularity. He can also defend, and I think he's good enough to play the point guard position right now. I was a little surprised that the Clippers went with Livingston because you got to wait on him. Devin Harris is NBA ready today to play the point.
This is a kid who was a little bit hesitant to go to with this term, the real world. Devin Harris, maybe you read the story in ESPN, the magazine. It was like a Three's Company deal. 2 female friends who were girlfriends, not one word, but 2 words. Female friends as his roommates. Devin Harris leaves Madison, and who knows where he'll be going. Maybe just down the road, just do a few hours to Chicago, to Dallas, who knows where. In any case, he's Washington's property for the moment.
Devin, you got a Wizards hat on. Do you have any idea where you're going to be playing next season?
None whatsoever.
Do you have any hopeful wishes where you might be playing next season?
It's I don't know.
So get out of here. What are you doing here? This is interesting because here you are, the 5th pick. You're sitting up here, but you have no clue. What does this feel like?
It feels good to get out of those chairs over there, I can tell you that. But up here, I mean, I'm still clueless.
You're still clueless. What about your game do you think will surprise whatever team you end up playing for?
I think my winning attitude, my hard work, and just knowing the game of basketball.
All right. Some people call him a mama's boy, but on the court, as emotionally tough as he gets. Mike?
Devin Harris, we'll find out where he goes perhaps later on tonight, perhaps as the weekend goes on. We do know the Clippers selection was Sean Livingston. Jim Gray standing by with one of the men who made the decision out in L.A. Jim.
Mike, that's right, the general manager. He's been in this position now 17 years. Elgin Baylor. Elgin, you got the man you wanted. When you traded down from 2, would you have taken Livingston at 2?
Well, we did our homework. We knew that we could trade down and we get him at 4. So, and then it helps us in other ways too, as far as salary cap and things concerned. So we knew we'd be able to get him at 4. Otherwise, we wouldn't trade down.
Elgin, how long before he can play?
Well, it depends. The coach has to make that decision. He could come in the first year. He can show by his play, the minutes he gets, that he can play in this league, which I'm sure he can. But that depends. It might take a season. It might take a half a season. It might take a year. But it just depends how quickly he's going to develop. But I just don't think it'll take 2 or 3 years. I don't think it'll take that long for him to show that he can play in this league.
Elgin, you mentioned the salary cap. You're way under. It's been widely written. Everybody's talking about it out here and across the country. A guy named number 8. Do you have a jersey waiting for him?
No, we can't talk about that, but we will be active in the free agent market this year. We'll be very active. And we're going to do everything we possibly can to improve this team.
Elgin, thank you. Thank you for your time. Congratulations on the pick.
You. Sorry about my voice, but
lost his voice.
All day.
War room. It's war in there. Mike, back to you.
Elgin getting virtually choked up just the thought of talking about number 8. Of course, Kobe Bryant, and free agency doesn't start until a week from now. Atlanta's on the clock. They only have 4 players under contract. They don't have a coach, but they have this pick, and here it is.
With the 6th pick in the 2004 NBA draft, the Atlanta Hawks select Josh
took out, but in fact he becomes the 4th player who was a college junior to come to the NBA draft and be selected here in the first 6 picks. Stanford has turned out some very good players over the last 5 years. 5th time a Stanford player has been taken in the first round. That's a big hat to cover up that afro that takes 10 minutes to comb out perfectly to be ready to play. Josh Childress selected by the Atlanta Hawks. Dick Vitale, your thoughts on the former Stanford star?
I'll tell you, played in a team concept when he was down at Stanford and certainly showed that he could shoot the 3 as well. He shot 43% from the trifecta. He missed 9 games. I think they're going to love him in Atlanta. Runs the court exceptionally well, and what a wingspan he has. Defends, very athletic, and like most players, he's going to have to get physically a lot stronger. But I think he's a great choice. I really like him. I like his upside, and I like his future. This kid is a quality young man as well. They'll have no problem with him off the court. He'll be a real guy that will contribute to the area, and there's no doubt he can play. Excellent transition player, and he can make the trifecta.
Another one from Lakewood, California. Southern California City has turned out some very good players, like the O'Bannon brothers, like Jason Capono, like
me?
Tom Tolbert.
I had a chance to watch him play a lot living out in the Bay Area, and I wouldn't say he's great at one thing. He's a jack-of-all-trades type player. He's very good at a lot of things. I mean, he can take out the dribble, he can post up, he can defend, he's real smooth, and the way he plays at a pace that seems like it's too slow, but he gets by it. He never lets the game get too quick for him. He's always under control.
Proud mom is here as well tonight. She's standing by with Mark Jones. Mark?
Yeah, she said she could kiss me. She's so excited. She just did, Mike, a few moments ago. Terry, what has been the most overwhelming part of the last few days? You were incredibly excited a few moments ago, still are floating.
I think the fact that there were a lot of trades going on, and they just thought that his stock was going to go down, and that worried us all. And we were kind of, just a little nervous, like I am right now.
Now, are you going to help him maintain and keep that fro, or is the fro go in the pros?
No, the fro is staying. That's his signature. It will stay. All right. He shouldn't cut that.
All right. No. Hey, Stuart Scott, Ben Wallace, look out. There's a bigger fro coming down the block.
Josh is 6'8", but he's 7'2" with his fro. He was watching his mom do the interview. He said, "Mom, what are you doing grabbing the microphone?" When you got up here, you said, "This is the craziest process ever." What do you mean by that?
Well, this draft in particular, I mean, no one had an idea as to where they would go. And, I was sitting in my room the past 2 days, just dying inside. I mean, you know, all the trades and everything, but, you know, I'm happy that I'm going to the Hawks.
Old school afro. He's got a body like George Gervin, loves the mid-range jumper. Josh, what position are you going to play in the NBA?
I'm a two-guard. I feel like I've always been a two-guard, and I think that's my natural position, so I'm looking forward to it.
Do more people want an autograph or more people want to touch the fro?
The fro, man. The fro? Yeah.
Now, Mom's is cool with the fro, right, as long as you keep it tight.
Exactly.
It can't be all scraggly, all jacked up like that, Mike. Fro's got to be real tight. 10 minutes combing before each game, Mike. Let's go back to you.
Well, he'll be doing it perhaps in Atlanta, a team that desperately needs people. Now, let's go to David Aldridge for a second. David, we saw Devin Harris taken a couple of picks ago. Any idea where he may end up?
I can tell you unequivocally, Mike, Devin Harris is going to be a Dallas Maverick. He is not going anywhere. And again, as you guys mentioned before, this leads you to believe that Steve Nash will be involved in a package in a sign and trade to go to L.A. for Shaquille O'Neal. But Mark Cuban is telling people tonight that Devin Harris isn't going anywhere. They're going to keep him, and he's going to be the point guard of the future down in Dallas.
All right, that was a trade involving the number 5 overall selection. Now we're up to the number 7 overall selection. And on the clock, you see that Phoenix is the team on the clock. However, this will likely be a Chicago Bull, and here's why. This proposed trade, with the Suns getting a 2 later on in tonight's draft, some cash, and a future first-round pick, the Bulls would get the number 7 pick. But again, the number 1 pick for next year for Phoenix is spoken for already for a prior trade, so they must take this selection, now announced by Commissioner David Stern. Again, this is Phoenix officially selecting, but in fact, this pick will be transferred to the Chicago Bulls via the trade we just showed
you. With the 7th pick in the 2004 NBA Draft, the Phoenix Suns select Luol Deng from Duke University.
Another Duke player. The 19-year-old freshman from Duke, Manute Bol, also from the Dinka tribe. Manute Bol going back and teaching and showing and taking a caring for teaching the game of basketball. Luol Deng, a product of that, selected here by the Suns, technically property of the Chicago Bulls once the trade paperwork goes through.
He's versatile. He knows how to play. He's long enough that he can overcome a lack of athleticism. He's a decent athlete, but not a great athlete. But with his length, he can stay on the floor, and he's quick enough to get by people, but he doesn't have blow-by ability.
He is not one of the best Duke players to come in the draft, but now a dozen Duke players have been taken in the history of the lottery era, more than any other school. And Dick Vitale, you get a chance to see Duke a lot and Luol Deng a lot.
Well, you know, the bottom line is what a great combination they're going to have in Chicago when you add Gordon and Deng. As Jay said and said so well, the bottom line is he's not a great athlete. He's a basketball player, multi-purpose, can play many positions, great attitude. Again, one of those kids you want in your program because he'll come to practice every day. He will not hurt you in any way. And the bottom line is he's going to get better and better shooting the basketball. He's got to improve his perimeter game and making shots from the perimeter. That will come with experience. Remember, he only had 1 year on a collegiate level. He's a kid, again, I really believe has a terrific upside. I really salute right now Paxson. I give him an A, baby. I give him an A right now, getting Gordon and Deng, 2 quality guys. And remember, they hit a home run last year as well, getting Kurt Heinrich, who proved he can play. So things are starting to look up in the Windy City.
Luol Deng selected there as the Toronto Raptors wait to pick next. Let's go visit with the former Dookie, and he's standing by with Stuart Scott.
Thanks a lot, Mike. Luol, you have the Suns hat on. It'll probably turn into a Chicago Bulls hat. When you were 7 years old, all you wanted to do was play soccer. What changed your mind?
I mean, just the opportunity, the love of the game just grew in me. And I mean, I started to grow, so basketball was what I wanted to do. It's just the love of the game.
After a bad offensive game at Duke, which you didn't have many, you would stay in the gym till midnight shooting extra baskets. What are you going to do in the NBA after a bad game?
I mean, everything is going to be the same. You got to keep working hard is what got me here, and that's what I got to keep doing.
I'm still a little mad at you for what you did to North Carolina last year a couple of times. I'll get over it, but I'm a little mad. Mike, this guy played every position but point guard at Duke. Very versatile, Mike.
Be a good time to point out, Stu, that Duke leads North Carolina in selections in the lottery era, 12-8. Toronto on the clock will continue. 2004 NBA draft opening round from New York after this.
What's up, everybody? I'm Jameer Nelson. I can't really see the camera. Say that again. ESPN. Great.
This program on The Score brought to you by Hyundai. When you can get everything you want in a car and Canada's best warranty, you win.
Check it out. My accent has no problem handling all my stuff. And with Canada's best warranty, I've got no worries.
With Elantra, we get the best of both worlds. European styling and Canada's best warranty.
My Sonata was just ranked highest in initial quality. No wonder Hyundai can back it with the best warranty in the country.
Canada's best warranty and incredible deals. Right now at Hyundai.
This summer, they may be deep undercover.
You sure this is gonna work? Just trust me.
But there's some things they can't hide. White chicks.
Mama! You want some of this?
因为在 NBA 每一个球员都不会放松自己，每一个球员每一分钟每一秒都在用自己100%的力量去争取自己的机会。我想在这里没有什么是很简单的，所以我要必须学习怎样去打得更积极、更主动。只有这样，我可以在这里找到自己属于自己的一片天地。
Hey, LeBron.
Oh, what up, Thirst?
Brother, how about a tour of your new crib?
This is my bedroom?
Right. King-size waterbed.
Game room.
Plasma screen, blah, blah, blah.
And this is the kitchen.
Oh, no, you didn't. Crisp, clean, ice cold, lemon, lime, Sprite, always at your fingertips.
Check it out. You crying?
It's just so beautiful. Show him my motto.
New Sprite remix, very clear. It's Sprite with the burst of berry flavor.
Congressman, trying to get members of Congress to get their kids to enlist in the Army, go over to Iraq.
The Los Angeles Times raves. It's impressive and incendiary.
We must stop these terrorist killers. Now watch this drive.
And the New York Times declares it's scorching, a passionate expression of outraged patriotism. And now it's the winner for Best Picture at the Cannes Film Festival.
My answer is bring them on.
Fahrenheit 9/11.
In select cities Friday. Additional cities July 2nd.
Raptors now on the clock. Team with Vince Carter, last year's number 4 overall pick, all-rookie performer Chris Bosh. No head coach, but this selection.
With the 8th pick in the 2004 NBA Draft, the Toronto Raptors select Rafael Araujo.
23-year-old from BYU, his wife Cheyenne there with the first miss. Jay, are you surprised that this center at 6'11", 280 went this early?
Yeah, I am surprised because he doesn't have a lot of leaping ability. He's not a great athlete. He doesn't have a great back to the basket game, but he's big, strong, and physical. He can play right away, and he's a very good passer, but you could have gotten him later. You didn't need to take him here.
Here's Mark Jones with his wife. Mark?
I'm with Cheyenne, little baby here as well, and you think back to all those mornings you rebounded for him at 6 a.m. Was there ever a point where you thought, boy, you guys are going to make it past this point?
No, we were always just in the moment. It was like get through AWC, junior college, get through BYU. It was hard to even imagine this point. It was just have a good year at this time in this moment here. And now we're here and we're enjoying this moment.
Here with your 2-month-old baby. What about your husband's humility? I mean, at one point in junior college, cleaning toilets is one of his jobs and going to the gym right after and working out.
Well, I just think it only helps him to appreciate what he's going to have now and really enjoy everything that he's going to be able to enjoy now.
Congratulations, Mike. Young couple with the young baby. They don't even look tired, too, like they're getting sleep.
Their daughter, Thais, was born in April, so just a couple of months old, as you mentioned, Mark. This guy arrived 4 years ago, didn't speak English. He's learned English, learned basketball, and give me your impressions, Jay.
Well, he's got good footwork, and he's got a mean streak, but he plays below the rim and does not have great explosion ability. What he can do is really pass the ball, and he's He's a good face-up shooter, but really doesn't have much of a post-game to speak of, and not an explosive defender, a guy, but he can knock you around, and that's one really positive thing about it. He's going to go in, throw his body around, and be really physical, and that's going to be very helpful to any NBA team. But this playing below the rim stuff, I question a little bit, because he's not a finisher in traffic.
So Araujo will be the selection here at number 8 for Toronto. Philadelphia will be on the clock next. They will make the number 9 selection, and certainly this will be the first surprise pick of the 2004 NBA draft with Araujo, who played 2 years junior college, 2 years at BYU, now heading to the Toronto Raptors. Video conference, let's go back to a team that's been hot at the 3 and 7 spot, Chicago, and we'll bring in from the Chicago Bulls, their GM and Executive Vice President, John Paxson. Will you keep both of these players, John, for your roster?
Well, we plan on it because, you know, right now one of our goals was to get more than one player out of this draft. We are in a position where, you know, we've had some assets that have really been hurt, whether it was Jay Williams, you know, last year, that incident, some other things that have happened where we needed to start building this team up again. And we're still a very young basketball team, so that's obvious, but we've addressed some needs, and we needed scoring and shooting out of this draft. With Ben Gordon, we get both. With Luol Deng, we get both. Both guys, I think, are going to be able to step on an NBA floor right away and play well and contribute. So, obviously, once the deal with Phoenix goes through, we're going to be very happy with this draft.
Oh, Coach, Philly's going to make their pick here momentarily. So thank you for coming out. We'll hopefully visit with you a little bit later on. Thanks again.
Thank you.
John Paxson joining us from Chicago. We do want to hear from the man selected, Mr. Araujo, standing by with Stuart Scott.
Thanks a lot, Mark. Rafael, when you arrived in the United States more than 4 years ago, you had one T-shirt, a pair of shorts, one pair of pants, $20 in your pocket, spoke no English. Yep. How in the hammy did you become the 8th pick in the NBA draft this year?
Man, this all come with a lot of work I did, you know, the beginning when I met my wife too. Like she supported me the beginning to the end. Like I'm so proud of myself to meet her. She supported me to the beginning. You know, things come with a lot of work, you know, a lot of, now it's pay off today.
Hard work does pay off. Mike, his nickname is Baby. The way that his wife let him know that she was pregnant, she left him a note just before his birthday and said, how would you like not to be the only baby in the family? Great story, Mike, for a great guy.
Neat stuff, Stu. It is family story as well. Thank you. Stephen A. Smith, I want to come to you because Philadelphia is on the clock. That's your hometown. Tell me what you think the Sixers are thinking now.
Well, I know they're thinking about Kirk Snyder. From what I heard, you know, they basically told him if he's there, they're going to pick him. But again, everybody's selling some fibs during the NBA draft. But you've got to think about the fact that they need a shooter, they need an athlete. And in Igoudala, you got to remember he's an athlete that can defend. So you never know what direction Jim O'Brien is going to go in right now. He's the first-year coach in Philadelphia.
Right.
Just don't know.
And the talk is, give me Iverson, a big man, and 3 perimeter guys.
That's right.
And structure the offense that way. Jay, let's look at your best available players. By your pure number ranking, Andre Igoudala out of Arizona would be the player who has, quote, slid a little bit so far.
He's the one with the most upside, the best athlete. I wouldn't be surprised to see Billy King and Philly go with Al Jefferson because he's an unbelievable rebounder, and he can also shoot the ball. Very explosive. Kirk Snyder shooter as well.
All right, that lays out what Philadelphia's options are. Here is their pick, and here's David Stern.
With the 9th pick in the 2004 NBA draft, the Philadelphia 76ers select Andre Iguodala from the University of Arizona.
The first 9 picks, 6 have been underclassmen. Andre Iguodala, another Arizona product to go in the first round. It's turned out so much good talent here over the last few years.
Just a freak of an athlete, Mike. He can really run the floor. He's got a 6'11" wingspan. In high school, he high jumped over 6'10". He reminds you a little bit of Scottie Pippen with his skill set, except he's not as good of a shooter. He's going to have to improve that jump shot. He shoots it with ease, but he does not have a very consistent jumper. And he's got triple-double ability. He had several triple-doubles last year for Arizona, and he can defend anybody. What you really like about him is his upside as far as being an athlete that can pass it, that can handle it. He doesn't shoot it. He does get to the basket and can really get out in transition. You put him in the backcourt with Allen Iverson, and he can make up for Iverson's lack of size and really guard somebody.
Do you like the pick, Steve?
I love the pick, and I'm going to tell you why. Allen Iverson's going to shoot 30 times a game. The fact is, you need somebody on the court with him that's going to go and get the basketball as opposed to waiting for the basketball. This guy's got the athleticism to do it. Like Jay said, he can put up a triple-double on any given night, and you don't necessarily need somebody to call plays for him in order for him to get the job done. I love it.
And I think what he does, too, is we talked about offensively, he upgrades you defensively. Jay mentioned how long his wingspan is. He really gets after you, and he can get after you full court. I mean, the full 94 feet, he can get out there and defend. He can deflect balls. He can rebound. He's a tremendous offensive rebounder. And on the break, you throw it up anywhere near the rim, this guy can get it and finish.
Was going to go to Arkansas when Nolan Richardson's situation happened there, left there, went to Arizona. Luke Walton was a mentor for him, and he will be in the NBA like Luke Walton. Andre Igoudala standing by with Steve Scott.
Thanks a lot, Mike. Andre, you're the first Wildcat to ever lead the team in rebounds, assists, and steals, but you're not known as a scorer. How does a non-scorer end up being the 9th pick in the NBA draft?
Well, I think, my style of play, was to get everyone involved, and we had a lot of scorers at Arizona. But been shooting the ball very well as of lately, and I'm looking forward to coming in and being a player that assists a la Iverson, in every part of the game. He's known as a scorer, so maybe I can compliment him in a good way.
Tim Grover, Michael Jordan's trainer, also trains this guy. Tim calls you a freak. What does he mean by that?
I guess just being able to do everything at a different level than everyone else. I can play above the rim. I can play the one. I can shoot the ball well. I can get everyone involved. So I just do everything well.
Rocking that pinstripe too. Mike, the Philadelphia 76er backcourt now, the answer and the freak.
Well, he's got it figured out already. First thing he said, I want to help Allen Iverson do whatever he needs to get done. That will help him in Philadelphia, right, Stephen? And Cleveland's on the clock. They made the big splash last year with #1 LeBron James. What do they do at number 10? Come back and find out.
Well, there it is. You called it. You called the stretch for Rafael Araujo, and you do like the player, though, that the Raptors are getting at the 8th spot.
I think so. I think he's a late bloomer, and he addresses a need that the Raptors have, and now they can go out and address their other needs in another way through free agency or trades.
Now, he averaged 18.1 and 10 rebounds at BYU. What kind of player are we going to see in Araujo?
He's a very physical, tough, hard-nosed player that competes, and he's more skilled than you'd think looking at a player of his size. He can pass the ball, he can shoot the ball. His issues are going to be on defense because he's only an average athlete.
Could they have traded down and then perhaps got him a little later? That's the question that's going to be asked.
I don't know.
You don't know?
Probably not.
Probably not. That's why they took him at that spot.
Right.
So Rafael Araujo is the man who is taken by the Toronto Raptors. 6'11", 280, plays big, plays strong. All right, let's send it down to the ACC. David Lannis standing by with Rob Babcock. David.
Thanks very much, guys. Lucky to be joined by Rob Babcock, the general manager, of course, of the Raptors. And how tough was it to make that pick? Let's start there.
Well, we went through a process looking at every player in the draft. I mean, we identified 4 or 5 guys that we thought have the type of ability and character that would make our team a better basketball team. And he's the guy of the big men that we really identified that could step in and make an impact with our team right away. He can get some minutes right away because he's mature, he's fundamentally sound, he's tough, he passes the ball, he does the things you need to do win basketball games. A lot of little dirty work things. So we had 4 or 5 guys that we looked at, and we're very happy that he was available there.
Do you envision seeing Chris Bosh, obviously played over 2,500 minutes in his rookie year last year. Do you see him moving back to 4, or do you see them platooning 5 each?
Well, I think that Chris will probably play at both spots, but that's going to be dependent upon, the new head coach and how he sees everything. But certainly you want to free Chris Bosh up to play more at the 4, which I think is his natural position and where his future is.
Where do you see, you're looking ahead to number 39 now in the second round. What's your mindset going into that pick?
Boy, we got a long way to go there. There's so many variables that take place. With the 39th pick, originally we thought that 39th pick, we had a very good chance of getting somebody that would make our team. But with the exodus of players that left the draft after declaring, that dropped the depth of that significantly. So now I think we'll be lucky if we can get someone that makes our team this year. We may look at try and find somebody that has a chance to develop maybe in Europe for 1 or 2 years, and somebody that we might be able to get in the future. So that's a wait and see type thing. We'll have to get back in there and see that.
All right, I wish you luck. Thanks for taking the time.
Thank you.
Okay, Rob Babcock, General Manager of the Toronto Raptors. Back to you guys.
Thanks a lot, David. And if you're surprised by that pick, you shouldn't be. Glenn Grunwald called it in our preview show. Rafael Araujo is now a member of the Toronto Raptors. Let's get it back to New York, where Cleveland is now on the clock.
With the 10th pick in the 2004 NBA Draft, the Cleveland Cavaliers select Luke Jackson from the University of Oregon.
Luke Jackson not here in New York, but a top 10 selection. Dick Vitale. Luke Jackson, part of a great run of players at Oregon the last couple of years.
Mike, excellent choice. He's got great range as a shooter. He can flat out shoot the trifecta. He shot 43% from the perimeter. I talked to Lute Olson, I remember early during the basketball season, and he raved about Luke Jackson. I love his game. He really can get free for a shot, and he makes shots. And today, you got to find people that can shoot the basketball. You see, for example, as you watch him taking the ball to the goal here, what happened with Rip Hamilton with the Pistons, a guy that can make shots. I love guys that can score and make shots. He can flat out shoot the basketball, and he can pass it as well. He has a lot of moves around the bucket. I think he's a great choice to blend in with LeBron James's creativity and great passing ability. You know, my guy Stephen A. Smith made a great statement early in the draft when he said that he thought that Charlotte would have been a better place for certainly Howard as an expansion team. However, I disagree with my guy Stephen A. about Igoudala. Couldn't dominate on a collegiate level. I love his athleticism, but he averaged 12 points a game in a fast-paced game with Arizona. Shows you the thinness of this draft when a guy's a lottery selection and it can't dominate in college. I think Luke Jackson would have been a better running mate in Philadelphia with the penetration of Mr. Iverson because he can flat out make shots, Stephen.
Let me break it down to you, Dickie V, and I love you, but let me tell you something. When Larry Brown was in Philadelphia, one of the things that he said is that you need athletes to put around Allen Iverson. You don't need standout shooters out there. You don't need people that want the ball and want to take people